This is some bull. Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and for several years I produced a series called War Dogs. It was an animated series using Legos that went on crazy and a bit profane and offensive adventures in space.
Facts. This guy, that guy, the drill sergeant guy.
Oh my god, we all made it!
Commander Brook.
Off!
Surge of the Scourge.
Hey, what's up?
Captain Frog and his wife Jessica.
Hook, line, and you, Al Gore.
It did really well, getting audiences all over the world. One of the most popular and most outrageous characters was played by Bradley Bates, the cowardly Frenchman. Froggy.
Good luck, Commander. A piece of my plane fell off. I think it is the blinker.
Though the cowardly aspect was put on the back burner, and he mostly just said all the crazy and offensive.
They have this leather S&M ride there that makes me harder than my grandmother's pot roast.
I soon used him as a tool for my political rants, and he even got his own series, Froggy Rants.
I'm the lovable and adorable Froggy here to penetrate your innocent and virginal brains with what is my brilliant and amazing opinion, also known as fact.
It was a way for me to vent my political and philosophical ideas. As popular or unpopular as they might have been, it was an outlet for me, and one that was less annoying to people than the 923-page essays I'd write on my Facebook posts and debates. Yeah, I was that guy. But I moved on to the Innocent Saga, and I lost the audience, and War Dogs eventually fizzled out. But it remained up on YouTube, until recently when I went to show some people a couple episodes, and I discovered the entire channel had been deleted. No warning. No notice as to why. It was all just gone. No doubt for the politically charged rants that were far from politically correct.
Your boyfriend is at work. At least he says he's at work, but he's probably actually banging some hot redhead from the gym.
And now, I'm putting my new channel at risk with this video. Why? Because I have to speak out. Because we're at a crucial turning point in this country, and I can't sit by and watch it happen without doing something. A good friend of mine who served in the armed forces recently said to me this is not the country he risked his life for, that he watched his friends die for. And he's right. I never served, one of my biggest regrets, but I've always believed in and stood up for the Constitution. And if my friends risked their lives for this country and the ideals that made it great, risked their lives and died for the freedom we all claim to hold so dear, then I can risk my YouTube or Facebook pages. Now, if I were monetized, I would be instantly demonetized for saying the word coronavirus or even quarantine, which is okay. YouTube is a private company. It has the right to do that. Except for the fact, under Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act of 1996, platforms like Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook are considered public forums and are therefore granted special immunity from prosecution from what a poster or user might say. They are granted this right because the internet is a place for free speech, and everyone should have access to say whatever they want. But YouTube and Facebook and Twitter are censoring users and still being protected by the immunity granted to them by Section 230. But they were given that immunity for the very reason of being able to say anything we want. I won't go into the abuses of copyright and fair use protection that YouTube ignores. We'll get into that in another video. For now, I've got to talk about where we are right now, sliding quickly into an authoritarian dictatorship. Now, you may say that's an overreaction, but we're getting censored. Our right to peaceably assemble is being violated. People can't assemble and practice their religion. All rights guaranteed to us by the Constitution. And despite what companies like Vox would have you believe with their article that says your rights aren't clearly defined, are absolutely and wholly wrong. They are very clearly defined by the Constitution. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government for redress of grievances. There's no asterisk that says except in times of emergency, or during a pandemic, or except when the government says so. And if you say it's a special situation and these are exactly the times that the Constitution should be on hold, then you're absolutely wrong. These are exactly the times that the Constitution was especially designed to be enforced. The United States Attorney General, Barr, specifically said that the Constitution isn't suspended. Whether you like it or not, the governor, not even the president, has absolute power. You have every right to stay in your home and stay where you feel you are safe. But don't tell me that I don't have the right to go out and live my life. You may say we need to stay in our homes until it's safe. Well, if we do that, then we'll never be able to go out. Life isn't safe. There are always risks. And if I stay inside and don't go out and live my life, then I'm not living, I'm existing. And I've done nothing wrong. I've committed no crime. So why am I being sentenced to house arrest? For my own health and safety? Well, that's my choice to risk that possibility. To keep you safe? No, that's your responsibility. Just like my health and my safety is my responsibility, not yours, not the government's. It's mine. So let me live my life and I'll let you live yours. But you're scared. I understand. We're being cautious. Better safe than sorry, right? Well, that's starting to look like that's not the case. Now, here's where I'm really going to get deleted. If this video disappears, this is why. Now, I'm not using any sources from left-wing or right-wing nutjob.com. I'm using completely legitimate and respectable sources. Now, I've been watching, listening, paying attention to all sources. And the plain and simple truth is the lockdowns aren't working. How can I say that? Well, let's look at what we do know. What's being reported. Let's start with Sweden, the country that never locked down. Restaurants are still open and strong restrictions were never put into place. Of course, they've been hit by the bug, but they've done much better than all the other European countries like Italy and Spain and even England that did lock down. Here in the US, 8 states didn't lock down. Oklahoma, Arkansas, Iowa, North and South Dakota, Wyoming, Utah, and Nebraska, and they've all been below national average in coronavirus cases. Check the study yourself. Then there's the now well-known USC and Stanton antibody studies that are showing that between 25 and 55 times more cases of the virus than previously believed. Sure, that just goes to show how much more contagious it is. But it shows two other things. The lockdowns haven't helped, and the mortality rate is much lower.
0.03 chance of dying from COVID in the state of California. Does that necessitate sheltering in place?
But don't think about trying to tell that to people, because Facebook and YouTube will both censor you. Like these two Bakersfield, California doctors who gave a presentation on their own findings and experience using publicly accessible numbers from government and health organizations across the world. A short time after their video was posted, it was removed by YouTube and Facebook for community guideline violations. Just like a Facebook post was removed for trying to organize a lockdown protest. Zuckerberg himself chimed in.
We do classify that as harmful misinformation and we take that down.
But apparently the Raleigh police are an expert in their field, claiming that protesting is non-essential. Constitutional law experts would say that is wrong. So will Twitter remove the Raleigh police tweet? So why are these and videos like it being removed? They're doctors. They're experts in their field. YouTube CEO explains why. Anything that would go against World Health Organization recommendations would be a violation of our policy. So if the World Health Organization doesn't agree to something, then it's considered wrong, inaccurate, misleading. Well, what happens when the WHO disagrees with the WHO? The WHO originally stated that there was no evidence of person-to-person spread. They opposed Trump's China bans. And when it came to masks, well, in early March, the CDC said masks won't protect you. The Surgeon General agreed, but then the CDC, days later, started recommending it. And despite the CDC saying to wear masks, the WHO said there was no need to wear the masks. How can YouTube determine what the truth is when the experts can't even agree with the experts? And when did the WHO get granted the sole exclusive deciding vote on what was truth? Approved truth. This should scare the hell out of you. What should scare you even more is that this guy is deciding what the approved truth is. Look, you may not agree with these numbers, these facts. That's fine. You have every right to disagree. You and I have every right to debate and argue, but do not shut down one side over the other. This virus will kill people. It will. So we have difficult decisions to make. But we can't just throw a blanket statement that lockdowns and shutting down the economy will save lives and then stop the debate right then and there. The UN says 130 million people will suffer from famine due to the economic shutdowns. Suicides, domestic abuse cases are rising, not to mention the unemployment resulting in food shortages. The government can't just print money and hand it out. The economy doesn't work that way. From the truck drivers to the guy who makes the plastic wrap or even the plastic milk bottles, the economy is a machine with millions of essential gears. Essential gears. Remove one and the system comes to a halt. We're already looking at food shortages. What happened with the toilet paper will soon happen with your food. What about those deaths? COVID-19 will kill people. It's deadly to some. To people in a particular category. Protect them. You don't quarantine an entire population. You quarantine the sick or those most at risk. This isn't science. This is a power grab. Governors and mayors getting a taste of absolute power and getting drunk on it. I remember officials saying before the lockdowns that everyone will get it. The lockdowns were to flatten the curve. Lift the lockdown, yes, more people will get it. We'll probably see a spike. But we can't ignore the results of unemployment, suicides, starvations, all of this worldwide. You can say it's all about money, sure, but money makes the world go round. It keeps people fed, it keeps people alive. But let's be fair, let's look at both sides of the money issue. Bezos and Amazon have made over $1 billion because of the lockdowns. Bezos owns the Washington Post, which recently slammed Trump for calling the WHO into question. Remember when the WHO said person-to-person contact wasn't likely? Trump called them out on it. But the Washington Post says Trump was wrong, when you and I both know that he wasn't. It's exactly what the WHO said. But the lockdowns are good for business. Well, businesses like Amazon, businesses like Walmart, and grocery stores. Government officials are choosing which businesses get to operate and which ones don't. They don't have that right. And during all of the lockdowns, mayors are still going to salons. Michelle Obama sent phone messages to residents telling them not to go out except for essential supplies and needs.
Remember, we urge you to stay home except if you need essential health care, essential food or supplies, or to go to your essential job.
And 2 days before, her husband went golfing 40 miles away from his home. Mothers are being arrested for playing with their children in the park, being threatened by police for setting up play dates.
Why are you here?
Because your daughter is going to play at other people's home and you're allowing it to happen.
Drones are checking people's temperatures. This isn't sci-fi. This isn't exaggeration. This is a horrifying nightmare of insanity.
When I'm writing up my death report, I'm being pressured to add COVID. Why is that?
And if you're not doing something about it, then you're responsible. Congratulations. We're in an authoritarian dictatorship. Is it too late? I honestly don't know. Part of me says no. There's still time for you to wake up, to stand up, to say no more. This was overblown. This was an overreaction, and we are a free people, and we will not allow power-hungry politicians to tell us that we can buy groceries at Walmart, but not a garden hose. You have the ability to protect your freedom, to stop the overreach, to see that we've been giving away our freedom bit by bit to the government and to big tech companies. You can stand up and say enough is enough and reclaim your life, your freedom. You can't call people conspiracy theorists anymore or say we're overreacting or that there is no such thing as a slippery slope. We're here. Our freedom is hanging by a thread. Part of me thinks that you and I can still save that liberty, but another part of me knows you love the convenience of Google too much. The majority of our social life is now through Facebook. Or the only way you can get a date is through Tinder. You get most of your entertainment through your TV or through YouTube. And part of me knows that you're not going to give that up. I left Facebook a few years ago because of privacy concerns. Now someone else is running our not so sane page. But after consideration, I'm afraid I have to delete that. And I may even have to delete this channel because I can't support censorship anymore. And my eyeballs on YouTube ads funds their tyrannies. I'll move over to BitChute or other sites. We can say enough is enough, and we can actually read those terms of service agreements before we click OK. We've sold our rights and our liberties for conveniences and for safety. We've forgotten history and our heritage. We've forgotten what freedom is because we got comfortable. And now the government overreach has become that of the 1940s Germany or of Orwell's 1984. And that's not an exaggeration. It's now reality because you and I didn't take action. The government, the media, and the big tech companies now have neighbors snitching on neighbors for violating lockdown orders. People's videos are getting deleted for saying the truth or just giving their opinion. You can't go to church. Government officials are using terms like hunt down when referring to a father who takes his son to the beach.
But we're going to hunt down that last 0.1% and say, you got to get inside, you got to cut it out, and you got to distance.
These aren't things that could happen. They're happening right now. And it's up to you and me to say, stop it. You can, by taking money away from the companies that violate your rights, that decide what the approved truth is, and to vote out every governor or mayor that seized supreme power. The Michigan legislature says it will not extend the stay-at-home orders. The governor says she doesn't care and that it will remain in place. You have to say no to that and vote her out. Ignore the red and the blue or the D or the R after their names just once. Do not let this continue. Otherwise, your freedom will be gone. Your children and your grandchildren's freedom will be gone. We've ignored the warnings and it may be too late. But remember, in 5 years from now, whether you're realizing you are in a dystopian world or whether you're breathing free air, just remember it was the choices you made yesterday and today that led you to that world. Be free. Fight for that freedom. I know I will, because I don't want to wake up in 5 years and wonder what went wrong.